Les Choux de Niçoise Part 3 Powder Application, and with this one we'll be using the Essence powder in order to complete the entire look. This is the Essence Sun Club Matte Bronzing Powder, and we will be using all 4 of these shades. And as I said in yesterday's video, if you want the exact same look but just a little bit more costly, Anastasia Beverly Hills the 4 quad four shadow face palette will give you the same complete look with Anastasia Beverly Hills. So these are all bronzers, by the way, that I will be using to set my entire face. I'll set my entire face and then I'll show you the shades after that I used when it comes to the Essence Matte Club Bronzing Palettes. So I'm going to start off with this brush, this Profusion powder brush, to set my full face. Okay, and that is my full face there. However, we're gonna go in and set the concealer, but first I'm gonna actually go in with the under eye, and I'm going to be using this shade from this Lori palette right here. I'm going to use this light shade from the Lori palette to do that. Because of how muted the eyeshadow is, I want to set it in order to make sure that the eyeshadow is still brought out with matching undertone shades. Okay, so that is that for setting my under eyes, and I'm gonna go back into the Essence Club. I'll show you the shades that I used after to set the rest of my face in where I placed the concealer. Okay, so that is that. Then going in this one right here, and then I'm just going to bronze up my hairline with this one, and then going in with the same brush and then bronzing up my cheekbone. Now I haven't applied any highlighter, but you can see that it's already, the products are already bringing out where I would apply a highlighter, kind of as though it's just in normal, the sun is just relaxing right where it wants the blush and the highlighter to sit on my skin. Okay, so going back in with this palette in order to use the blush portion of this palette, and going in with the blush, we're going to settle the blush where the sun is basically telling me to settle the blush. Okay, and I want to take away the powdery look, so I'm going in with the sponge in order to make sure that it doesn't look so powdery on my skin as the highlighter and the blush, and where I placed the bronzer at my hairline. Otherwise, everywhere else is fine. And by the way, the sponge is very good at taking makeup out from your hair. So you can put it right at the edge of your hair and it will get the makeup out. Any makeup that has attached itself to your hair, use a sponge and just blend it out a little bit, and there's no more makeup on your hair. No more makeup. So you can do that if you want to. Now, going in with the lighter form of the same highlighter again as a highlighter for my skin. Okay, and I am just going to go right underneath my eye and keep in the shape that I placed the blush, just in a much shorter element. Sometimes you don't always want that full Nike check mark thing going on, and I'm not looking for that right now because it does say a lot with that Nike check mark situation. So I'm just doing one of those Adidas strokes instead. Just doing one of those Adidas strokes instead of a Nike check mark. And then just taking the sponge to blend out that Adidas stroke. Now, going back in with that very same round, dense blending brush, I was just cleaning off the excess of the Canary shade. And then I'm going to go in with the highlighter and put it at my brow bone, which will then complete the entire face look. Okay. And there you see how everything meets a 1, 2, 3 step, and the added fourth is a full facial powder step, meaning that everything meets and everything tells a story, and you have an answer to the story that is being told. Okay, so let's go into the Essence Sun Club powder and show what shades I used earlier. You've seen what shades I've used in the L'Oreal palette, which is not the L'Oreal, the Lori palette. You've seen which shades I've used there, but let's go over the shades I used in the Essence Sun Club. I used this shade to set my face, I used this shade to set the concealed areas, and I used this shade to bronze up my skin, and that's it. I did not use this shade today, but I do use that shade. But I just didn't use that shade today. Okay, so I used, once again, this shade to set my face, this shade to set the concealer, and this shade to bronze up my skin. And that is the complete look set with the powder. Thank you so much for watching part 3. Les choux d'essai été et les toi. Stay tuned for part 4. Esenio edu ako. Part 4.